But at the same time, he hasn't worn masks consistently. He's pushed back against things you've said.
See, I think that's less an anti-science than it's more a statement.
What kind of a statement?
A statement of strength, like we're strong, we don't need a mask, that kind of thing. He sometimes equates wearing a mask with weakness.
Does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't, of course not.
Do you have a feeling that there is sometimes an all-out war against science?
Oh, yeah. I mean, particularly over the last few years, there's an anti-authority feeling in the world. And science has an air of authority to it. So people who want to push back on authority tend to, as a sidebar, push back on science.
He's going to lock down. This guy wants to lock down. He'll listen to the scientists. If I listened totally to the scientists, we would right now have a country that would be in a massive depression.
Okay, President Trump making Dr. Fauci's point for him. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe.
Well, can we stop there for a second?
Sure.
Just because actually in the first couple of minutes, we saw two contrasts of America, and one of them actually is based on science.
Years of study.
Centuries of study.
Yeah.
On education, on knowledge, on the very things that got us, I'm serious here, got us out of medieval times, got us out of the Middle Ages, the age of enlightenment, the age of reason, the age of medicine and science and learning, and versus Donald Trump's very medieval view of the world that science, if I had listened to science, yes, if you had listened to science, Donald, 220,000 people wouldn't be dead right now. And, it's really, Mika,
that's fact.
One of the more surprising things for me have been a number of friends, some very good friends that I have. The number of friends, number of acquaintances, number of educated people who still are believing what they read on Facebook and still believing what they hear from Donald's mouth, which is that this is all a political hoax. Still believe that. Got friends who tell me that this is going to be over, that COVID is going to be over the day after the election, because they believe that this is a political hoax. They still believe that 220,000 people buried their loved ones. And thousands of people will be suffering from the consequences of having this disease for the rest of their lives in furtherance of a political hoax. So my friends who tell me it's no worse than the flu. It's the same thing as the flu, when Donald Trump himself told Bob Woodward back in February was 5 times deadlier than the flu. But it's why what's happening right now is far more than a referendum on Donald Trump's 4 years in office, his political views, his political agenda, because he really doesn't have a political agenda. He is a president who is governed by gesture. This is instead a referendum on a lot more, a referendum on whether we believe our Constitution says what it says, or whether we want to have a president who runs around saying that Article 2 gives him the power to do whatever he wants to do, that federal judges' authority can be questioned, that the media is, in Joseph Stalin's words, the enemy of the people, that there are no legitimate checks and balances against him, that the entire concept of Madisonian democracy over 240 years is for nil when it comes to him. And then add on science, add on medicine, add on basic learning, and you have that versus superstition. This is, please, if you don't think people aren't going to look back at those rallies with the same horror that we now look back on the Salem witch trials, you don't think that's going to happen 50 years from now, 100 years from now? You're kidding yourself. In the middle of a pandemic, long after we are all gone, people will be showing these images and asking what happened to America, or at least a large subset of America. And what happened was Donald Trump. And history and Americans in the future are going to have to grapple with that, as are those right now who are working day in and day out to further his agenda, or the tens of millions of people who are actually going along with this and actually believing that Anthony Fauci actually is making money off of vaccines. A lie that continues to spread on Facebook. I do wonder, Mika, when this is all over, the Facebook reckoning. You know, it's so hilarious. I actually saw an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal yesterday. And the columnist, whose name doesn't deserve to be repeated on this program, was talking about the liberal dominance of Facebook. It's so bad that the most viewed sites on Facebook are all right-wing, not conservative, are all right-wing extremists who are pushing alternative facts. That's what Facebook has become. It's become a propaganda outfit. And this is one of the things, Democrats are so stupid. They really are. Democrats and liberals in the media are so stupid.
Why?
Because somebody will say, oh, Facebook is unfair to conservatives. Oh, what do we do? Why do we can't have them calling us bad. Yes, you can. Like, that's what conservatives think. They can lie through their teeth. These right-wingers think, at Wall Street Journal editorial page, think they can lie through their teeth and talk about Facebook having problems and Twitter having problems with a story that even the New York Post knew was a lie. They knew it was such a lie.
We'll get to this, but okay.
That they put a woman's name on the story, reportedly, that didn't even know her name was going to be on the story. The man who wrote that story knew it was such a lie. The New York Post knew it was such a lie that he refused to put his name on that story. They published a series of lies peddled to them by Rudy Giuliani, who admitted that nobody else would take it but Rupert Murdoch's New York Post, because they might look into it and tell the truth. And Democrats saying, oh, what are we going to do? So I'm not talking about Democrats now. I'm just saying historically. Republicans have been able to lie like this, and columnists at the Wall Street Journal editorial page going, what are we going to do about the liberal problem at Facebook? When again, day in and day out, the most viewed pages on Facebook, the most shared pages on Facebook are from right-wing conspiracy theorists, anti-Trumpers, who present a disgusting, twisted view of the world. And then Republicans like Josh Hawley. I mean, he's serious. I don't know him at all, so this isn't personal, but he's either the stupidest person ever to walk in the halls of Congress or the most disingenuous. He's going, we have a problem with it. We need to censor Facebook. Really, Josh? Oh, you're a conservative and you have to censor a private. I got problems with Mark Zuckerberg. I think 230 should be eliminated. I think it should be. I think it, like we broke up the baby belts. I think Facebook should be broken into 1,000 pieces after what they did in 2016, letting the Russians in, and Sheryl Sandberg learning that the board was being told about this and getting angry that the truth was getting out. They should be broken into 1,000,000 pieces. But Josh, you want to censor a company that's like private? Really? Didn't you go to Harvard Law School or something? Like seriously, did they teach you that you can like ban private businesses? No. Where I went to, we didn't learn that in law school. So Mika, they're whipping up All of this nonsense, all of this garbage, anti-science, anti-First Amendment, anti-truth, and we still have a race that's too close to call.
No, and
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.